month on the Nikki Jencen Show, we are talking about gratitude. What are you grateful for?
Oh, hey there! How are you? So glad that you can join me today. Sorry, I was just writing in my gratitude journal. I was just writing that I'm grateful for you being here today, watching the show. So today's show, I have some great stuff that you're not gonna wanna miss. If you don't know who I am, my name is Nikki Jencen, and I am the host of the Nikki Jencen Show, a living room talk show. My guest today is Beth Bunchman. She is a holistic health coach and author of Cultivating Gratitude. Now, she has an awesome Facebook group called Cultivating Gratitude. She cannot wait to teach you how to get the most out of your life with using gratitude. Let's take a look to see who else is benefiting from having gratitude journals.
My name is Sam Gonzalez, and I wanted to share with you for a moment about truly having an attitude of gratitude. You know, I really love this time of the year and the month of November in particular, because it's the month of Thanksgiving and there's so many things to be grateful for. I was just sharing with a friend of mine that, hey, you know, if we get to wake up in the morning, that is going to be a great day. Yes, I know we will have a lot of our challenges and stuff that we need to get through the day, but hey, we've already gotten past one of the biggest ones by just waking up. So I hope that this has helped you realize that regardless of your circumstances, regardless of what is going on around you, that if you just take a look around, that there is so many things to be thankful and grateful for.
Hi, my name is Jamie, and I am a stay-at-home mom of 3 beautiful children. About this time last year, I was going through a lot in my personal life, and I felt myself being very negative and stressed out all the time. And I had a wonderful friend who I would confide in, and she really encouraged me to start something that she called a gratitude journal. And every day I would sit down and I would write what I was grateful for. And it was really an eye-opener to see it on paper and to realize what I had and really what I had to be grateful for. And slowly over time that turned into realizing that what I was most grateful for was also things that I wanted to pray for and things that I wanted to give to the Lord every day. And I started to not only write down the things I was grateful for, but also a prayer list. And this is a pretty little book that I bought, and I would leave it with my Bible on the coffee table. And at first my family would start to read it, and I didn't know how to feel about that. I thought, man, these are my personal thoughts, and I don't know if I want to leave this out for them to see. And then the more I thought about it, I thought about it being such a testament to them to see even themselves in that book, and just to see the small things and large things that I was truly grateful for every day.
About my gratitude jar, I got the idea from actually Pinterest. There was a happiness jar that someone posted with happy moments written down on little pieces of paper and put into a jar. And I thought I would do that with gratitudes instead. So on a daily basis, I would write down 3 gratitudes in the morning, 3 gratitudes at night, and put them into this jar to fill it up and see them grow over time. And it's a really nice way just to see all the things you're grateful for, because there's one item on each piece of paper, and I like it better than a journal because I don't have to go refer to it at any time. I can just look at it. It's on my desk out in the open. It's nice to see.
Here's what you're going to learn on today's show. Beth will teach you that having an attitude of gratitude can change your perspective on life. She's also going to teach you some gratitude exercises that will pump up your life, and how a gratitude journal can be the difference of having an unhappy life to having an extraordinary life. Now on with the show.
Thank you so much for being on the Nikki Jencen Show. I am so excited that I am speaking with you on gratitude. This is Gratitude month. You know, I think that having a grateful attitude is one of the most important things that you can do for your life. It's essential to be happy. Would you agree?
I totally agree. Yeah. I mean, I think, I think we have so many different ways that we live. Gratitude is definitely a key part of where that all stems from. I think we have to have that intrinsic attitude of positivity and that things are going to go well, and appreciation for what we already have before we can appreciate anything else that's going to come into our world. So sure. Yeah.
What is gratitude anyway?
So I think if you just, if you look in the dictionary, gratitude is defined as like appreciation and thanks. I think that's about all it says when I looked it up once. And I thought, well, that's kind of ridiculous, right? Gratitude is so much more than that. I mean, it's how we live. It's who we are. It's that intrinsic attitude. And so it's not just appreciation and thanks. It starts there for sure. And that's, a basic level of gratitude for sure is having appreciation for when somebody does something nice for us. We say thank you and we appreciate that gesture. But it really definitely goes beyond that, because it's who we are on that fundamental level. And it's seeing that we have been given gifts and we're blessed with certain things in our lives, using those gifts to our advantage and to the advantage of our families and our friends and the world around us. And sharing those gifts is like really full on expression of that gratitude for yourself and your being and your purpose in your life. Mm-hmm. And so taking those gifts and sharing them with the world is really, I think, the fullest expression of gratitude. And you can even take it a step further and say the things that you're struggling with, I like to call them opportunities for growth, right? So they're not obstacles. They're not these things that I'm struggling with, but they're actually opportunities for growth. And so instead of saying like, this is happening to me, or I'm stuck with this, baggage or whatever it happens to be, saying, you know what, this is actually an opportunity for me to grow, to see the possibilities that my life has for the future, and that I'm not just going to continue down this same path of stagnation, but that, my body, my life, my world, my business, whatever it happens to be, can grow, that there's that opportunity right there for you to overcome that obstacle and move forward. And then also it's an affirmation of your potential, right? So it's this idea that you are capable, you wouldn't be given that obstacle if you weren't capable of overcoming it and really shining beyond that. I think gratitude is all of those things. It's not necessarily all of those at one time. And so deciding where you're at, with different pieces of your life is definitely important. And maybe you're at a point in your life where you can just express thanks for something that somebody else is doing for you. But over the course of your life, or even in different periods of your life, you should be able to take it to that next level where you see that you have gifts, you've been given these gifts, and you're meant to share them, and really share them as an expression of your gratitude.
Now, how has gratitude affected your life?
Actually, I would say that I've always kind of been a glass half empty kind of person. And it always bugged me. I struggled with depression and things like that. I got to a point in my life a couple of years ago where I decided, I don't know if it was like an epiphany moment or a dream, or I don't remember, but I just remember suddenly being like, I need to start focusing on gratitude. I looked at all the different challenges and things like that were out there, and none of them really resonated with me. So I just kind of decided to create my own. I just decided that this was the right way for me to find my happiness, to find appreciation for the everyday, the mundane, the little things, to not see everything so negatively, and to really start to see even the positives in those little things. And so I just kind of started creating my own practice, and it turned into what eventually became my book, but it turned into this practice, and people started asking me what I was doing. And so I started sharing it with friends, and we did it together, and then I sold it as a course, and it just kind of kept growing and snowballing.
Is that a vision board I see in the back?
It is. Yeah.
Now, is that one of many, or is that the one? Because mine is like huge. Is that the one?
So that is like the big one that I have that's been hanging out with me for a little while now. Okay. I made that probably a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of hangs out in my office with me. I've kind of since gotten away from the full-on vision board that is, I mean, this one's like shellacked and everything. It's not going anywhere. Those pieces are stuck forever. I have a newer philosophy on vision boards is that they should be fluid and that they should always kind of be changing with, you know, where you're going in your life and what's important to you now. You know, one of the things that I did when I did this one was that it wasn't so much just about where I wanted to go and having it be this shrine to things that I'm not and that I want to become, but that there was some element of current truth to all of those things, and that they were things that I wanted to foster and grow more of. And so it wasn't this unattainable something that I was always working towards, but it was something that was already a part of me. And I don't remember where I read that philosophy, but it really struck me as something, you know, rather than putting supermodels and fancy cars and, you know, all these things that really weren't important to me, but you get the idea. You know, this idea just really resonated with me. So this one is more permanent, but otherwise, you know, they tend to be, you know, a little bit more like just a thing here or a thing there on a wall or on the fridge, or I don't know if I can show you my office if you want, but I have like that one up there, which is like little quotes, and you can, they're just clipped in, so you can change them out. And then
I love that.
Like just little ones that I'll print out, like I'll write them up and I'll print them out and just stick them around my desk. There's another one. I like to scrapbook, so I just kind of put that one on some fun paper. It's probably all back.
Feelings. Ooh, that's a good one.
I love that one.
I really like that one, because what do we do with a lot of our feelings is that we want to like shove it down, take medicine, don't feel it, don't talk about it.
Right.
You know, I'm feeling depressed, but, you know, don't actually feel it because I don't want to go there. I just want to be happy. So I love that. I love that. And I know that with gratitude, you can have more of the happy feelings more often.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are feeling depressed, that it's okay to feel those feelings.
The only way to actually to move through them is to feel them. So, you know, you really have to embrace that that's a piece of you and a part of you, and experience it so that you can figure out where it's coming from and why it's there and how to move through it. So as you know, through my work as an energy healer, that's a lot of what I do, not necessarily depression, but just feeling into those feelings and allowing your body to feel a pain here or a twinge there or whatever it happens to feel, and to not wish it away, pretend it doesn't exist, you know, claim that it's just a stress cramp or something like that, but to actually feel into it and figure out what it is and why it's there, so that you can actually process it and move through it. Beginning to follow my intuition, and that's led me to where I am now, actually, as an energy healer. And it started out as, you know, the stay-at-home mom who was just kind of depressed, and it turned into, you know, me being an energy healer. And there were lots of steps along that path, but part of it really was that first step of saying, like, it is okay to take time for myself. It's okay to, you know, be happy about the things that are going on in my life, or to even see that I have gifts and that I'm here for a purpose. And, you know, all of those things that, you know, to some degree feel like selfish, or, you know, a lot of those things that are often deemed negative in our world right now, you know, it really was a process of me saying, you know, it's not selfish to take some time for myself and refuel myself and my vessel so that I can raise these kids and give to my husband and support our business and, you know, those sorts of things. And, you know, it really just, it became this little practice that I was doing that's kind of snowballed into, you know, seeing that I had all these gifts and then using those gifts for healing purposes and helping other people solve, you know, bigger things. So, yeah.
What do you suggest that people do if they want to do some exercises to kind of pump up their gratitude muscle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think there's lots of different ways you can do that. What I found was the easiest is called person experience and opportunity for growth. And it's just 3 short, easy, it's pretty easy to remember 3 things. One of the things that I found with the online challenges and things like that was that there was no direction, right? And so you get online or even if you just get out a journal and like the first day is super easy, right? And you can write down a million things. And then the second day you're like, oh, I forgot, these 2 or 3. And then the next day you're like, I'm done. I'm out. I give up. By the end of the week, for sure, you're done. There's nothing else coming to mind.
Right.
And so I think you can have a topic for the day. If you want to make it really easy, you can have a topic of the day and pick different areas of your life. If you want to make it really easy, but there's some decisiveness that has to come with that. So usually what I tell people when you're first starting out is person, experience, and opportunity for growth. And so pick a person that, meant something to you during the course of that day. It can be something as small as, the checker at the grocery store smiled at you. It doesn't have to be anything super profound. They might have done that to everybody in line that day. But it might have just warmed your heart for half a second and put a shift in your energetic field and in your vibration and the world that you're living in. Or it could be something really profound, like you found out you're having a baby or, whatever, it can be something really big, and same thing for experience. So an experience throughout the course of your day may or may not have happened with another person. Again, it could be something as simple as I saw a dandelion in a crack in a parking lot, but it was pretty and it was yellow in this sea of concrete, or again, it could be something really big. And then again, that opportunity for growth, I think, is the most important piece. It can be the hardest piece for people, but I do think it's the most important piece is seeing those struggles, seeing those obstacles as having at least a silver lining, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be this profound realization that something that seems really horrible is now really this great and glorious thing. It doesn't always work out that way, but even just seeing the silver lining of, so-and-so has cancer and, maybe that's really, has no hope. And there's this really downward spiral that we really feel like we're not going to get away from. It's hard to find a silver lining in something like that, but to say like, well, it's giving me awareness to have that time with that person or to take better care of myself or, to foster other relationships or whatever happens to be. There is a silver lining to all of those horrible situations that we're faced with, and taking those opportunities to take that moment to see it, even if it's hard, is important.
Eckhart Tolle with The Power of Now. It's one of my favorite books.
Okay.
It really changed my perspective on life, and that what we give power to our thoughts can really change the way that we see life. So he says that just going to hang out with ducks and watching the birds, because they're always in the now, will put you in a place of more gratitude, being more thankful for your life, because you're going to be sitting with the ducks and utilizing the same energy that they're using. And they're always in the present space, and to be in the present space will always make you more gratitude for the things a part of your life. Let's talk about having a gratitude journal, because I think that can do the same thing as watching the birds, as being in the same space with the ducks, really putting your thoughts on paper as to what you're grateful for. How can a person have an effective gratitude journal? I think that we can just write words down and have it somewhat change our life. But how do you really use that gratitude journal to propel you towards your goals and what you want for your life?
So I think you can do it with a journal. You can do it as long as you're really intentional. It doesn't even have to be on paper. I think for most people, especially it depends on your learning style, but for a lot of us, we need to see it. We need that tactile expression of actually physically going through that motion of writing it out. I think it depends on what your learning style is, how important that is for you. But for most people, it definitely has a huge impact. One of the reasons that a gratitude practice does work, you know, a lot of times we think, well, oh, it's just kind of changing my thoughts and making me take that time to focus on it, but it's actually rewiring your brain. So all of those instances where you intentionally make that connection between point A and point B in your brain fosters that path growing again in the future. And so, you know, going back to that idea of, you know, me being depressed and really negative and having that negative mindset, well, those were the pathways that were formed in my brain, you know, for whatever reason, those were the pathways that at that point in my life were the strongest. Is that catastrophe was always kind of the answer. And there was never really like the thought that it could be something positive or neutral even. Like it was always going to be something negative, no matter what I was kind of thinking at the time. And because those were the pathways that had formed so strongly. And so by having that gratitude practice, by taking that time intentionally to set it in your calendar and, you know, especially to write it down so you're multisensory and just doing it on a regular basis, it helps to form those positive brain pathways and makes those pathways stronger so that next time when something, you know, happens, you don't automatically assume the worst. You start to assume the positive, or even, you know, that you just start to have those, you know, positive thoughts just randomly, you know, not necessarily in response to an instance, but your brain is following those positive pathways. And so having that journal, I think, is just another way to enforce it, especially with tactile, that multisensory approach, I think is really important. But I also think it's important that, you know, you can pick out the most beautiful. I've got this gorgeous journal that I love, right? But it's so pretty that I never take it anywhere because I'm afraid it's going to get hurt and damaged and dirty. And, you know, what good does it do me sitting on my desk at home when I'm only home a couple hours a day? So having something that's with you all the time, even if it's nothing, right? Even if it's just a timer on your phone or even, you know, an app on your phone that reminds you to continuously form those positive pathways, that I think is actually more important than having this beautiful journal that never goes anywhere and never sees the light of day, because it's so precious.
See, I would set timers with a positive affirmation on it.
Okay.
But I don't feel like it really did much.
Okay.
I felt like, it was kind of annoying. I turned it off. I didn't really even read it or absorb it.
Okay.
So I think that if I had an app that went boing, you know, and it showed up on my home screen to read it,
Okay. Yeah.
I think that would be so revolutionary. We should do that. So essentially, a gratitude journal is going to rewire your brain to think more positively.
Yeah.
I love it, love it, love it. I appreciate you coming on the show. I know that you have something coming up.
Going to be running a gratitude practice program. So we'll work together on working our way through the book, but also practicing together some sort of meditation, practicing those affirmations, talking through what's working, what's not working for you. So if somebody has those apps, or if somebody has a chime that, you know, really resonates for them, they can share all those tools. And, you know, we'll talk about lots of other tools as well. In addition to the book, you know, just support each other through that process, because I think it's so important when we're working on new things and we're trying to personally grow, to have that tribe of people that are doing the same thing. You know, I mean, we know there's always somebody out there trying to lose weight, but if you're trying to lose weight and your spouse isn't, like there's a disconnect there, right? And so if you're working on gratitude, but your spouse isn't, they may not necessarily be disparaging towards your new practice or trying to do something negative to sabotage it. But if they're not on that same path as you, you know, it's just kind of a bit of a hang up and a frustration. So I think whenever you start a new practice, it's nice to have a team of people that are doing the same thing, working on the same things, struggling with the same things, to just bounce ideas off of, to share your highs, to share your lows, to share your wins and losses. And, you know, to say, hey, I've got this opportunity for growth that I'm not seeing as an opportunity. Can somebody help me see it as an opportunity? Help me find that tiniest, smallest sliver of silver lining so that I can, you know, I can practice this more.
Awesome.
I think that's really important.
And we will have all the links so that people can join instantly or they can go through your website. We'll have all the links for everybody to join effectively. Beth, you're amazing. Thank you so much for your time and for your wisdom.
Thanks for having me.
So what do you think? Do you think that a gratitude journal will benefit your life? If so, I have a giveaway. So Tatum uses this gratitude journal. It's called the 5-Minute Journal. We were gifted a journal just like this a few years ago by a good friend. And it has really made a difference in our life. And Tatum loves it, so it's really great for kids. It has the date, a quote, I am grateful for, it gives you 3 things. What would make today great, daily affirmations, I am, and 3 amazing things that happened today. And you do this at night. And how could I have made today even better? It's really a great way to get perspective on the good things in life. I have an amazing giveaway. There are some stipulations though. Here's how to win. Comment below one thing that you're grateful for right now. Subscribe and like this video, then share this video with all your friends on social media. The winners will be contacted by me personally. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much for being a fan and a part of this community. We cannot thrive without you. So thank you for your shares, thank you for your likes, and I am so, so grateful for you. And I'll see you next time on the Nikki Jencen Show. Mwah.
I am grateful for my teacher, my school, money, my friends, my family. What are you grateful for? Leave it in the comments down below.